The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Let's get right to our panel now. Joining us is Ryan Grimm of the Huffington Post and Jonathan Capehart, who's an opinion writer for the Washington Post. So, gentlemen, I think we've all just witnessed a highly impressive performance of courage by the Republican Representative Ted Yoho of Florida. And apart from the wormy lack of candor he demonstrates, what I'm struck by is that he won't admit what's obvious. John, he is a birther with a capital B. Why not just come out with it? I mean, he's got less courage than Donald Trump.
No comment. Look, the idea that we are discussing the president's birth certificate 5 years after it was proven to, the whole controversy was proven to be false is outrageous. And that a member of Congress cannot be a statesman enough to say, look, these birther questions and questions about the president's birth certificate are not part of the discussion. Let's talk about other things that I disagree with the president on. I mean, it's outrageous.
He won't even say anything. He says no comment.
Oh, right. And you know what? That goes to leadership. When the leadership of the Republican Party was asked about the president's birth certificate, they did basically the same thing. They wouldn't say flat out, no, this is wrong, this is false, this is untrue. They winked and nodded and said no comment.
Absolutely. Ryan, I'm not sure who Mr. Yoho thinks he's fooling exactly. We've got him on tape saying that he wants to support Steve Stockman's birther bill. Take a listen to this, Ryan.
Steve Stockman's got a bill that's going to look into the birth certificate again. Would you be willing to co-sponsor it? So I called Steve up. I said, when I got back there, he goes, yeah, we're doing that. Would you want to get on that? I said, yeah. And I said, I thought I'll buy it.
You know, Ryan, I'd have more respect for these guys if they actually had the courage of their disgusting convictions. A man who thinks it's impressive to join an idiot like Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Well, I think he feels like he's basically, saying what he believes by saying no comment. I mean, he knows he's.
Well, we just had him on tape supporting the Stockman bill.
Sure, yeah, that's what he believes. He's one of these guys that does believe that, and this is kind of what you get when you have a representative democracy tilted by gerrymandering, because there are millions of people out there who don't think that the president is legitimate, think that he was born in Africa or Asia or somewhere there, or wherever he was born. They're certain that there's just no way this guy can actually be our president, and lo and behold, they have some representation in the House.
Yeah, they certainly do. John, earlier in Top Lines, we saw Rush Limbaugh mouthing the same propaganda that he heard from Mr. Assad's representative, namely that Assad was framed in relation to this chemical weapons attack. Does it not seem strange to you for Mr. Limbaugh to carry water for murderous dictators?
Well, yes and no. Yes, it seems strange because, I mean, he's talking about the President of the United States being complicit in ghastly murder, but no.
Over 400 children.
Yes, but no, I'm not surprised because Rush Limbaugh hates the President, and he will say anything that's negative, detrimental, harmful about the president that, stokes up his listeners, and who also happen to be a large part of the Republican Party base. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stomp on a question that you're about to ask, but from what I understand, he then, at the end of his sort of weaving this conspiracy theory, says, now, I don't know if this is true.
Yeah. I'm just asking the question. I'm just putting it out there.
But as you showed in those clips, he wasn't asking questions. He was very definitive. The president's behind this. He's complicit in this.
Absolutely. Ryan, do you think the president of the United States is conspiring with terrorists in the Middle East? Because apparently Mr. Limbaugh does.
Well, I mean, Rush doesn't care about this. He doesn't actually take it seriously. Whatever position Obama's going to have, he's going to take the opposite position, and that shows it as clearly as anything you need. Now, the problem here is that there are millions of people who are extraordinarily skeptical about U.S. claims of intelligence when they're going to war, and there's very good reason for that. They were lied into Vietnam. They were lied into Iraq. This wouldn't be the first time that we were complicit in a chemical weapons attack in the Middle East, even.
But Ryan, if that was the position, why wouldn't Rush Limbaugh and his ilk not recognize that this particular president did not support the war in Iraq?
I mean, well, they supported the war in Iraq and Obama didn't, so they're comfortable there because they get to, have their cake and eat it too. They get to be
I'm
against
getting
Obama.
confused, Jonathan.
Right.
It's one lie and conspiracy after another.
Well, look, the common denominator here is hatred of the president. As long as you keep that in mind, everything else that's happening in the sort of swarm of conspiracy theories and Republican opposition to the president will make sense. That's all you need to understand.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Ryan.
The Republican Party is on the verge of voting against war. That's all. I mean, what else do you need?
Yeah, I mean,
Incredible. Ryan Grimm.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.